As it happened, the world found out how John F. Kennedy felt about Finland, or more precisely what he intended to do about Finland, or not, at his next press conference the following day, November 29, 1961. One assumes that, like Dean Rusk, his Secretary of State, JFK was also disappointed with the performance of his Finnish counterpart, for whom he had rolled out the White House red carpet 6 weeks and a seeming eternity before. Still, Kennedy had not said anything about it in public about the Finnish debacle, nor, in point of fact, had any U.S. official. Had the official U.S. policy toward Finland, including confronting Moscow over its aggression against Finland, as the New York Times had archly put it and as Rusk ardently desired, changed? If Kennedy was looking for an opening for a new front with Moscow over Finland, here it was, while the West was still reverberating from the shock waves of the mushroom cloud-enshrouded crisis the Soviets had suddenly precipitated. The Finnish and Nordic Washington correspondents amongst the 372 reporters present that afternoon in the auditorium of the State Department were particularly interested in hearing what Kennedy had to say on the matter. Everything hinged on the president's opening statement. In the event was no mention of Finland in the statement. Kennedy's focus, as it had been at all of his recent press conferences that fraught autumn, was the East-West conflict. His principal concern within that context, and the front he was mostly focused on, he indicated, continued to be Berlin. Despite the end of the standoff between American and Russian forces at Checkpoint Charlie, the president declared, there continued to be a direct clash of interest in the major area which is Berlin and West Germany. It was for that reason, he said, that his administration had called up U.S. reserve forces and increased preparedness for conventional warfare. There also was a new front Kennedy was increasingly concerned about, in South Vietnam, where there had been increased fighting between U.S.-backed forces and North Vietnamese-backed communist ones. Just 2 weeks before, on November 14, 1961, Kennedy had made the fateful decision to increase the number of U.S. advisors in Vietnam from 1,000 to 16,000 over the next 2 years. Still no mention of Finland. Then the pensive-looking Kennedy took questions. Perhaps inevitably, Finland did come up. In the event, in one of the few upbeat notes in the U.S.-Soviet conflict, just a few days before the press conference, Kennedy had been offered and had given an interview to Izvestia, the official organ of the Supreme Soviet of the Soviet Union. Surprisingly, the wide-ranging interview with the paper's editor-in-chief, which actually contained some criticism of the USSR and the Soviet system, was published in full.